And that brings us to the main event here for UFC Seattle. And if you're enjoying the content, hit that like and subscribe button as we break down Joe Pyfer, Joe Pyfer, as Dana likes to say, taking on Israel Adesanya, the last style bender. Carlos, who are you going with in this one?
This is such a tough fight to pick. I'm going to go with Adesanya in this one, and I'm mainly going with it just because I don't think Pyfer does enough in a lot of his fights, and if he continues that trend, if it doesn't get stopped or and it doesn't get the KO or the finish in the first round, whether it's submission or KO, I don't know if he's going to be able to stand with someone like Adesanya for the next 5 rounds. You know what I mean? So the issue being is like Adesanya, we've all seen when it comes to his defense with the boxing aspect, pretty much it's pretty bad. Okay, he's got very good kickboxing, and he's got to keep you at kickboxing range to have that success. But when you step into the pocket just a little bit more and you're in boxing range, that's where he has a lot of his issues. And Pyfer can do that, but Pyfer doesn't have a sense of urgency either because he doesn't like to get hit. I mean, who does? Who likes to get hit? Nobody. But if you're going to be a brute and you want to be physical and you want to impose yourself, you got to do it in one of two ways. You either got to get in the pocket to land the shots or and get hit in return, or you got to wrestle him and get it to the ground. And Pyfer does talk about how good his jiu-jitsu is, and he's got wrestling, and he's training with those animals that have the wrestling as well, but he just never uses it. He doesn't try to get you down. He doesn't try to keep you down. He doesn't try to even use ground and pound. He doesn't use any of that. He just kind of stays upright, tries to box, and his boxing is also very lackluster, not because he doesn't have the skill to do it. It's because he doesn't have the urgency to go after it. And Adesanya, he's going to move. He's going to try to keep you at range. So you've got to time him, whether he's going back or whether he's coming forward, whether he's throwing a kick, and you've got to look for those openings. And Pyfer doesn't seem to have that. It's either he's going to bull rush forward and try to land something. And if he doesn't get that in the first round, then he tends to fade. So that's my only reason for taking Adesanya in this one. Pyfer can do everything that I said he can to get this done and get the decision. But I feel like I haven't seen him do it before. Why would he do it now? And Adesanya has been just a little bit chinny in his last couple of fights. So in the first round is where he's going to be in the most danger because Pyfer tends to fade later on in the fight. So if he can get it done early, that would be great, but I don't think he can with Izzy. I think he's going to give Izzy just a little bit too much respect. He's not just going to come into the pocket and try to land something big. So I'm going to go with Adesanya, and I think he can get this one done by decision.
Yeah, man. If you're enjoying the content, hit that like and subscribe button. And I got to say, Israel Adesanya has definitely shown all the signs of a guy that's looking chinny and looking over the hill at 36 years old, obviously former champ, probably a future Hall of Famer, if not a current Hall of Famer. I'm not sure about the status of that, but the guy, obviously we know, former glory kickboxer, great credentials on the feet when it comes to the kickboxing, and he was knocked out against Imavov, and he's not looked good since, and I think it's one of these fights where you look at Joe Pyfer, it's a step down in the rankings, obviously ranked 15 here on Tapology as I look at it in front of me, and Joe Pyfer has all the skills to win this fight if Israel Adesanya's chin is done, but I'm going to go with Izzy. I think realistically, when you look at this matchup here, Israel Adesanya is a guy that even if his chin has faded, you go back and look at his title defenses against Cannonier, against Romero, that he will fight a boring fight if he needs to get in the win column. He will be defensively sound. He will be on his P's and Q's. He will mind the way that he fights. He will fight boring in order to win a fight. And I think that that's what we see here from Izzy. I think you look at this matchup here against Joe Pyfer. I think if Joe Pyfer comes in here and bull rushes Izzy early in the first round, I think that he can get him out of there if his chin is faded. Pyfer carries a lot of power. He can mix in takedowns. He has good aggressive wrestling early where he can really just kind of muscle you to the ground. But after that, I think Izzy can get right back up. So unless Pyfer can land a big shot early here and back Izzy up against the fence, I think this should be all Israel Adesanya. I think realistically what we look at here is we look at a third or fourth round, maybe TKO or a decision boring victory here for Israel Adesanya, where he's, kind of just poking and prodding at range, landing in the teep, landing into the calf, and just pumping out a jab. And realistically, it's going to be boring in my opinion. I think Izzy gets back in the win column, and I think Joe Pyfer, I can see this fight playing out where, I said this to Carlos off air, that Joe Pyfer is a guy that when you go back and look at that Jack Hermanson performance where, if you're kind of losing a lackluster performance where you're tentative and you slow down late in that fight against Jack Hermansson, who's not looked good recently, who's looked chinny, what are you going to look like when you fight a technical kickboxing match with low output against a guy like Adesanya? That's a great fight for him to be able to win. Big cage as well. He doesn't have to worry about that over in the Apex. And I just think Joe Pyfer is, and I mean this with all due respect, he's a big dumb animal. He's a guy that he wants to bull rush you early. He wants to get you to the mat. He wants to beat you up with ground and pound. He wants to muscle you. He wants to land big power shots, but he's not able to fight like that consistently throughout the second, third, fourth, and fifth round. I don't think he's designed to fight long into fights in your fourth and fifth round. I don't see him being a champion later on in in the UFC. I think he's a guy that's going to hang around the top 15, and I think Izzy, in terms of this, has all the skills to be able to fight a kind of boring fight and ultimately win a kickboxing match here. He's got great takedown defense. Obviously, most of the city kickboxing guys do. I think he keeps this one on the feet, lands the technical strikes here to be able to win on the judges' scorecards. And ultimately, I think Pyfer's just looking, getting screamed at by his coach where he's not having enough output. So I think Israel Adesanya is the only way I would lean here, providing his chin's not faded. And if you're enjoying the content, hit that like and subscribe button. Carlos is going to let you know what you need to do if you enjoy the content.
Hey guys, we hope you enjoy the content. We enjoy doing it. If you like it, hope you enjoyed it. Please hit that like and subscribe button, and we will see you on the next one.
Check out some of our PFL content. We've got PFL, we've got Dog of the Week, we've got UFC. It's all coming on this channel. We've got betting guides coming out later on in the week, and we'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace.
Peace.